Is the Nintendo Switch in big trouble with a hardware exploit found in Tegra X1? Wolfenstein 2 for the Nintendo Switch gets a release date and a brand new trailer. There's a ton of news from NPD sales in the month of March, what games did good and what hardware did good, and Atari sort of does something very strange with the Rollercoaster Tycoon crowdfunding project for the Nintendo Switch, which I guess we should expect because it's Atari. All that and more in the Wednesday, April 25th edition of RGT News. Let's go!
RGTNEWS coming at ya right now. Woo! RGT85 coming to you with the freshest video game news. Now take it away.
Alright, so we've talked about the Nintendo Switch hacking scene on this channel a few times before. It looks like there's a lot of developments being made, but most of those are based on software exploits for the Nintendo Switch. This new hack that's being touted on the internet is actually a bit more problematic for Nintendo because it is a hardware hack that is basically being hardware driven through the Tegra X1. Now, I don't claim to be an expert on system hacking and I don't know all the technical details of it, but basically what this hardware hack entails is that people are able to run emulators on the Nintendo Switch, people are able to pirate games on the Nintendo Switch, and you can even do custom firmware on the Nintendo Switch and be able to run Linux on this. And the problem comes in the fact that this is a hardware exploit, not a software exploit. So it's not like Nintendo could just come along and release a patch for something and fix this issue. It's within the Nintendo Switch's hardware itself. Theoretically, Nintendo could do something with the software side of things, release an update patch for the system and make it so that if your system is hacked, you won't be able to play games online with other people, thus giving you an advantage. But other than that, there's not a whole lot they can do with this. And the fact that it's come along so quickly is because of the Tegra X1, which is a pretty open source processor that the Nintendo Switch uses as far as the hardware is concerned. So it's going to be a very interesting thing to see what Nintendo does with this. This hardware hack has not been released yet, but there's like 2 companies that are doing it, and they're pretty much just waiting for the next person to make the move. So sooner than later, this hardware hack is going to be released, and it looks like it's very simple to put this hardware hack on your Nintendo Switch. So what is Nintendo going to do about this is really the big question. Of course, there have been rumors and murmurs that a hardware revision could eventually come along for the Nintendo Switch, and it looks like something like this may actually force Nintendo's hands. It just depends on how big this homebrew and piracy scene becomes on the Nintendo Switch with the hacking side of things. So it's going to be a very few interesting months to see how Nintendo reacts to this and see what precautions they do if there is a software implementation to sort of thwart things at a ground level, because let's face it, these hackers are probably going to be able to get around that very quickly, or if we do see a hardware revision for the Nintendo Switch. There has been lots of rumors that Nintendo could be doing some sort of hardware revision, and I don't know, maybe this will force Nintendo's hand. So it's going to be very interesting to see what Nintendo does and their reaction to this sort of thing. NPD numbers for the month of March are in, and there are some surprises that we need to talk about. Actually, 2 surprises on the software side of things and then on the hardware side of things. So the #1 selling game for the month of March was Far Cry 5. That was a multi-platform release both on the PS4 and the Xbox One, so no big surprise there for me. I thought that that game was going to do phenomenal anyways. Looks like a great game. I haven't had a chance to pick it up yet, but I will be soon. Second was Sea of Thieves, which of course is an Xbox One console exclusive, but was also available on Game Pass. So I'm very surprised to see this selling well, considering if you just picked up Game Pass for $10 a month, you could have gotten the complete game. So it's interesting to see that some Xbox One owners would rather buy the game than just get it on Game Pass. Third was MLB 18, the show. Obviously, baseball season is in full effect, so no surprise there. But fourth was Kirby Star Allies. And based on the latest data from the NPD, Kirby Star Allies actually had the strongest debut month for a Kirby game in the US since ever. It actually surpassed Kirby Nightmare in Dreamland, which was the previous game that was #1 for Kirby sales in the US before that. So actually pretty interesting. That game was a bit on the easy side, but obviously Switch owners are buying games. It's not an issue of, Switch games not selling well. So very interesting to see Kirby do so well. Hats off to Nintendo for that. I thought Kirby was a little bit too easy for my liking, but I did get some enjoyment out of it. And rounding things off in the 5th position is GTA 5. Once again, no surprise. That's available on everything everything, and people just absolutely love that game. On the hardware side of things, the PS4 was the #1 selling console overall, the Nintendo Switch in second place, and the Xbox One in third place. As far as single hardware SKUs are concerned, the Nintendo Switch with the Neon Joy-Cons was the #1 selling individual hardware SKU. So really a good month for everyone, really. You know, the PlayStation 4 sold well, the Switch sold well, the Xbox One sold well. It was about 100,000 units between first and third place in terms of that. Software is selling really good. Exclusives are selling good, as we see with Sea of Thieves, MLB 18 The Show, and Kirby Star Allies. So a really positive month. No matter what system you had some enjoyment, and there was some good stuff coming out of there. So it's great to see the video game industry still alive and well. So many people are saying, oh, you know, consoles are dying, nobody's buying consoles. Bull. The proof is right here in the March NPD sales. Game that a lot of Nintendo Switch owners have been looking forward to, but details have been a little bit scant on it, was Wolfenstein 2. Where was the release date for this? We want to know when this game is coming to the Nintendo Switch. Well, now we finally have a release date for it. It'll be available on the Nintendo Switch in North America on June 29th. And to commemorate this, we also got a new teaser trailer for Wolfenstein 2 on the Nintendo Switch, and damn, the game looks good, man. The game looks really visually pleasing. I'm very impressed with what Panic Button has been able to do with this, even though I really shouldn't be. They did a fantastic job with Doom. They did a fantastic job with Rocket League as well, so it really shouldn't be a big surprise, but it just looks great running on the Nintendo Switch hardware. What's really interesting, though, is in this teaser trailer, you actually see some motion controls for Wolfenstein 2. Now, this was implemented into Doom later by Panic Button on a update for the Doom version, or for the Nintendo Switch version of Doom, so it's nice to see that it looks like the motion controls will be available for day one on Wolfenstein 2 for the Nintendo Switch. Are you going to be picking it up on the Nintendo Switch, or have you played it on other platforms? Let me know in the comments below. A fighting game with a really long name has also been announced for the Nintendo Switch. Guilty Gear XX Accent Core Plus R will be coming to the Nintendo Switch eShop in 2018. Yes, that is the full name. Guilty Gear XX Accent Core Plus R. Where do you come up with these names? Couldn't we have just done something simpler like Guilty Gear 20 or something? Like, I understand there's been a lot of Guilty Gear games out there, but I feel like we could have condensed that a little bit. But this is a port of an arcade game that originally released in 2006 and was ported to other systems throughout the years. I believe it was on the PS2, there was a version on the Wii, there was a version on the PS3, and the Xbox 360 as well. It looks like they're adding in 2 new characters into this game, and the game will have online mode with ranked and player matches, so you could pretty much choose how you want to do it. Now, it is interesting that in the PR statement, they did pretty much specify eShop only, so it looks like this will be a digital only release for the Nintendo Switch, which is a bit of a bummer. Maybe limited run games or super rare games can come along and make that a physical release as well, because fighting games are awesome. I love fighting games, especially 2D fighting games, so I am looking forward to Guilty Gear XX Accent Core Plus R on the Nintendo Switch. Shining Resonance Refrain is an RPG that a lot of people are looking forward to. It is a multi-platform release available on the PS4, the Xbox One, Steam, and the Nintendo Switch. And now we have a concrete release date for that game. It'll be coming on July 10th. So there's actually a lot of games coming in June and July this summer, no matter what platform you're on. It's very interesting to see. We got a new trailer for the game as well, and it looks like a game that I'm going to be enjoying. I kind of fell out with the Shining series after Shining Force 3 on the Sega Saturn. It kind of went in a different direction to me, and it sort of is still in that different direction, but I am willing to give this game a chance. It looks pretty interesting. I like this trailer that they released today, so I'm interested. I want to check this game out because I do miss the Shining series, so very cool to see. Battle Royale games are all the rage right now, but arguably the grandfather of the genre has to be H1Z1, which was a PC game that's been on the PC for quite a while. It's been on the PC for so long that I actually downloaded this at one point and tried to play it on my PC. And knowing me, how I don't play PC games, that shows that it's been around the block for a while. But this game has actually been dated for the PS4. It'll be coming to the PS4 on May 22nd. It's obviously one of the original Battle Royale style games with controls adjusted to match the PS4. It'll be an open beta on the PS4, so it looks like it'll be a free-to-play sort of thing, similar to Fortnite. Now, what's interesting is PS4 owners just have Fortnite when it comes to this. They don't have PUBG like they have over on the Xbox One. So could this be the answer to PUBG on the Xbox One, a more realistic style game as opposed to a game like Fortnite on the PS4? I think it'll be interesting to see. It'll be interesting to see how many people check this out. Obviously, if it's just an open beta and it's free to get into, I'm going to check it out as well. Hopefully, it runs better than PUBG runs on the Xbox One, because because that's just abysmal, but interesting to see. And finally, we have a bit of news coming from Atari with something very, very strange with the Rollercoaster Tycoon for Nintendo Switch game. Now, this was a game that was on a sort of crowdfunding thing, but it was more of an investment thing where you gave X amount of dollars and you can invest in the sales of the game and you would get some residuals and kickback from the sales of the game when it released. And a lot of people, myself included, were very skeptical about this. We didn't like it and we were pretty outspoken about it, but the campaign was almost over. It was actually supposed to end like in the next day or two. And then all of a sudden this email went out, and I'd like to give Dreamcast Guy a shout out for bringing this to my attention. Make sure you guys go check out his channel. But this email was sent out to all of the backers of this project that says the following: I hope this email finds you well. I am contacting you regarding your investment in Atari Games. Atari Games has decided not to close on their funds. We avoided all investments for the offering. So they just canceled it. They canceled it completely. What the hell is up with that? And I was ready to crucify them on the cross, of course, as I like to do things like that. But interestingly enough, while Dreamcast Guy and I were having a conversation on Twitter, one of the developers actually chimed in, and he had to say the following on this subject. Sorry, but there are some incorrect facts here. Atari did not pull the plug on the crowdfunding aspect, and nobody has been charged, as the email says, but the game will be released. The game development is well underway. It's happening, guys. And then I sort of retorted. I said, but don't you think it gives a really unclear message to do crowdfunding and then rescind it? What was the point of the crowdfunding in the first place if it really wasn't needed? To which the gentleman said, yeah, indeed. Actually, Atari did not create this to fund the game development like a typical Kickstarter. This was a proposition of investment in exchange of sharing future profits, but I guess it was not explained properly. And I'm not here to blindly bash people, you know. If people are willing to reach out to me and tell their side of the story on subjects that I find interesting, they're more than welcome to, and I'll more than give them, some publicity and talk about their side of the story as well. So pretty interesting to see how this, whole thing just ended up being, and now the game is coming out regardless with no sort of funding needed and no investments given to people for investing in the game. I don't know, just a crazy situation. Pretty much it fits Atari in 2018 though, doesn't it? Just this company that's kind of all over the place and no one knows what their clear direction is. So a really interesting story. Let me know what you guys think of it in the comments section down below. All right, and that's gonna do it for the Wednesday, April 25th edition of RGT News. Thank you guys so much for supporting this show. Obviously, this was a jam-packed show, tons of stuff to talk about, tons of stuff going on in the world of video games, and I'm glad to be able to provide this sort of little update for you guys and give you guys my thoughts on what's going on in the world of video games. Let me know in the comments section down below what you think of this news, what you think of Wolfenstein 2 on the Switch, the NPD numbers. Do you think the Nintendo Switch is in trouble with this hardware exploit? And thank you for watching this video. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe. RGT News is every Wednesday and Friday morning at 9 a.m. Eastern, and soon there will be a Monday show implemented as well. There's all sorts of other videos on the channel. I just did a review for South Park, The Fractured Butthole on the Nintendo Switch, a very enjoyable game. And thank you guys for supporting this channel. We are almost at 95,000 subscribers. There's a good chance we will hit 95,000 subscribers today, Wednesday, April 25th. And I just want to thank you guys for your continued support. If you really enjoyed this video and you really enjoyed the channel, be sure to check out the description box down below. We got Patreon, t-shirts, social media, all sorts of ways to keep up to date with the world of RGT85, and I will catch you guys on the next video. Later.